This video is in response to Don Weary's video, What Does Faith and Belief Matter? Basically, Don, your video was in support of the theory of predestination and using that to negate faith and belief in our choice. In your video, you said that some Christians tell you that everything that happens is the will of God. I think that's bullshit. I don't think it's the will of God for any soul to be lost. It is our will that does that. I don't think it's the will of God for millions to be starving and dying of malnutrition in Africa. That is our will. Certainly our governments, if they cooperated with the relief agencies, could get those people fed. But because of politics or the expense incurred in submitting to that cause, the world has basically decided that those people need to die. That the hassle of dealing with those obstacles is not really worth it, or not in their interest in order to save those people. So again, that's not God's will, it's ours. In your video, you used Pharaoh and you cited the example of Jonah in support of your theory. I would also add Job to that category. In these three cases, especially the Pharaoh and Jonah, God either suspended the free will in order to prove a point, like he did with the Pharaoh, or in the case of Jonah, God heavily influenced the free will in order to get something done. And in the case of Job, God tested, or was testing, his free will and his faith in giving him tribulations that he didn't really deserve. These three cases do not prove predestination. They simply showed times when God did intervene for one reason or another. But I do think, Don, that God does have favorites among his creations. But the free will is still there for all of us. And if we choose God and his system, we will become one of his favorites. You mentioned in your video that due to God's omniscience, predestination is a fact. Well, his omniscience only gives him the ability to see the future. It is not the same thing as him determining the future. There's a big difference there. And that same counter argument can be used against the prophecies and the fulfillment of. You said that since the prophecies are written down and they're becoming true, that proves predestination. And again, determining the future and seeing it are two different things. And this is why you should consider, or still consider, faith and belief and choice. Because they still are relevant, no matter what theory of predestination you may be reading or entertaining. The Bible states that we have a choice to make. We either choose God, his Son, and submission, or we don't. And his system is very specific in that. And once we hear the message, or once we hear the good news, quote unquote, there is nothing that can excuse us from making a choice concerning it. Thank you.